Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a book haul for you. It's my big birthday book haul. Every year for my birthday I take a trip to Amsterdam, visit my favorite bookstores and just allow myself to basically buy all the books I want. Obviously it has to fit my budget and I have to be able to physically take them home on the train. But other than that, I don't have any limits. So yeah, that is this book haul. I got so many good books. I'm so excited to talk to you about them. I think especially if you like backlist titles, modern classics and backlist titles, I think you might like this book haul. So yeah, let's just get into them. I'm gonna start with a blind date book first. So the bookstore that I got this book at, they very often do blind date with books, and I think I've got like 4 or 5 over the years, and I've really enjoyed all of them. I wanted to pick another one up as well. If you don't know what a blind date book is, it's a book that is wrapped up and it has some keywords on the cover about what the book is about, but essentially you don't know what the book is. So yeah, this was in the science fiction section. So it says science fiction, less dark Black Mirror, hope and humanism, which I'm not sure, is humanism a word? I'm not even sure. Short stories, philosophical questions, and then there's a quote that says, 4 things do not come back: the spoken word, the sped arrow, the past life, and the neglected opportunity. I haven't got a clue which book this is. If you do, leave a comment down below and put in your guesses. But yeah, let's find out. It's a book by Chiang, Exhalation. I have heard of this author. I think he's quite a well-known science fiction author. It even has a quote by Barack Obama on the cover. So yeah, I'm very excited to read this. I'm very curious to see if I like it, but it definitely sounds like it might be something that's up my alley. I'm gonna turn the light on now because it is a bit darker than I thought it would be. Hold on. Okay, let's continue with the rest of the books. I divided them up in sort of rough categories. I've got them all lined up here, so where to start? Okay, I think I'll talk about this little stack of books first, which are all books of my 40 before 40 list. If you've seen my last video, I talked about 40 books I want to read before I turn 40. Which is in 2 years' time. So yeah, these are books that are on that list. So first I got I Contain Multitudes by Ed Yong, The Microbes Within Us and a Grander View of Life. This is a non-fiction book where the author discusses the microbes in your body and how important they are to sustain life, and how every human, every animal is like a whole tiny little ecosystem in itself, which I think is a fascinating topic. So that's why I wanted to read this book. I also got The Break by Katherena Vermette. She is an indigenous author from Canada, and this is like a multi-generational family story, which is always something I really enjoy, and I've heard a lot of people that really like this book, so I'm excited to read this one. I also got We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, and I was very excited to find this cover because I think it's my favorite from all the covers I've seen. So you have this illustration at the front, and then it turns to the back as well. And it has French wraps, which I love. It also has deckled edges, which I don't love, but We can't have it all, can we? So yeah, this is a modern classic horror story, and yeah, it's a book I've always wanted to read, so I was pleased to pick this up. Then I've got Housekeeping by Marilynne Robertson, another sort of contemporary classic. I think this book is about two orphans growing up, very sort of small town book, family story, character study kind of book, which I love. And then lastly from this little pile is Pilgrim at Tinker Creek by Annie Dillarrd, which is I'm pretty sure it's a non-fiction book, where the author talks about Tinker Creek and really focuses into this one location and all the nature surrounding it. So yeah, I love nature writing, so I hope I'll like this one as well. Okay, so the next category is basically, I went to the bookstore, I saw a book, and then it reminded me of a booktuber. Books I'm sure other booktubers have loved, and I heard them talk about maybe like 5 years ago. And I'm not really sure what the books are about, but I know that someone has loved them, so I'll pick it up, kind of books. So the first one is Swimming in the Dark by Tomasz Jedrowski. This is a gender librarian favorite, and I think it's set in Poland. It's about two boys growing up, falling in love. That's about all I know. But Jen loved it, so that's good enough reason for me to pick it up. I've got The Fruit of the Drunken Tree by Ingrid Rojas Contreras, which I'm pretty sure is a Reading Women Award nominee from back in the day when the Reading Women still had their podcast, which I still really, really miss. It's set in Colombia, and like a lot of the books that were discussed on the Reading Women, it's a book that deals with feminism and the particular struggles of women. So yeah, sounds good to me. Then I've got Crossing to Safety by Wallace Stegner, which seems like a rustle of ink and paper block kind of book to me. I'm pretty sure he talked about this a couple of years ago. I have absolutely no idea what this is about. It is often regarded as one of the contenders of the great American novel, but other than that, that's about all I know, but I'm looking forward to reading this one. Then I got a bit more recent book that is Real Life by Brendan Taylor. I'm pretty sure Simon of Savage Reads had this as one of his favorites a couple of years ago. All I know about this is that it's black and it's queer. I'm pretty sure it's sort of set in a college, or the main character is a student. Yeah, again, that's about all I know, but I really trust Simon's taste, so I picked this up. And then lastly in this category I've got How Green Was My Valley by Richard Llewellyn. This was a Mercedes favorite, and is a book set in Wales, and is very much a sort of quiet rural life. Let's talk about all the people who live there kind of book. A close look at a community, a close look at a rural community, which just sounds exactly up my alley. So I was glad to spot a copy of that in the bookstore, and I snatched it up. Then I've got a couple of books that I've been keeping my eye out for. So books that are actually on my wish list. First I've got Femina by Janina Ramirez, which is a non-fiction book. The subtitle is A New History of the Middle Ages Through the Women Written Out of It. So a non-fiction history book seen from a female lens, and I've been really interested in relearning and rediscovering stories and histories and things that we've been taught and things that we've been taught in a certain way for centuries, and now looking at them from a new lens, and discovering that maybe things weren't the way that we always thought they would be, in a very broad sense of the words. But yeah, this particular one is about medieval history. I think it will be a very, very interesting read. Then I've got this essay collection, World of Wonders, by Amy, and I should have practiced this last name, Amy Netsukuma Tatio. The subtitle is Embrace of Fireflies, Whale Sharks and Other Astonishments. So yeah, it's an essay collection about the natural world, and that's about all I know of it, but I've heard really, really good things about it, so I picked this one up. And then I've got They're Going to Love You by Meg Howrey. I talked about this book in my mid-year book freakout tag, and I listed it as one of the books that I wanted to read before the rest of the year, or one of the books that I was looking forward to coming out, something like that. So I thought, I might as well pick it up and read it. So this is a book about the theatre, musical, dance world in New York, set in the 80s during an AIDS crisis. I'm not sure what the exact story is, but I've heard some good things about this book, so that's why I really wanted to read this. And then I've got, lastly from this stack, I've got another non-fiction book, and that is All That She Carried, The Journey of Ashley Sack, A Black Family Keepsake, by Tiya Miles. This is a non-fiction book, like I said. It starts basically in the 1850s, where an enslaved woman gives this cotton bag to her daughter, and her daughter is being sold to other people. And she gives her this cotton bag, and the book is basically the story of this cotton bag and how it has traveled with this woman and consequent generations. And I think it's going to be one of those books that combine a very personal story together with a more broader history, a bit like The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson, and that is a book I really, really loved, and I think that that combination of like the personal and the general history is something that I really, really like. So yeah, I think I'll really enjoy this book. Then I've got a couple of books that I hadn't heard about before, but something about them spoke to me, and I picked them up and brought them home. The first one of that is A Line in the World, A Year on the North Sea Coast by Dorthe Nors, who I'm pretty sure is a Danish author, so I'm guessing this is translated. Translated by Caroline Waite. So this is a non-fiction book where she talks about a certain area. There's a map here, so she talks about like the top part of Denmark, all the way down past the German coast and to the upper region of the Netherlands, and she visits like different places along that coastline, talks to people there. So it seems like it's a combination of history and the people's history who live in that area, and also like a natural history of the area, which I think is a really, really, really interesting combination. I think I'll enjoy this book. Then I picked up this book, which is Hungry Hearts and Other Stories by Anzia Yezierska. I picked this up because I always check out these green Farrago Modern Classics spines if I'm ever in a second-hand bookshop. Yeah, they really stand out, these spines, and I think there's always interesting stories to find with the Farrago Modern Classics. This is a short story collection. It was first published in 1920. It is all short stories about Jewish women who are living in New York, specifically the Manhattan's Lower East Side. And these are stories basically about the struggles that these women face living as Jewish women in New York at that time. And then lastly, I've got The Book of Difficult Fruit by Kate Lebo. This is an essay collection where she takes one fruit for every letter of the alphabet and writes an essay about it. It says on the back, Kate Lebo expertly blends natural, culinary, medical and personal history in this A to Z of difficult fruit, from the invasive to the poisonous and the explosive. These liberal essays often take unexpected turns, giving sideways insights into life, relationships, self-care, modern medicine and more. So yeah, it's another sort of hybrid book that takes a lot of different topics and puts them into one book, and then sort of combines it all together with talking about food, which I think is just a really, really excellent combination. So yeah, that's why I picked it up. It sounds really, really good to me. And then my very, very last stack are books by authors I've read before, and I wanted to read more of their work. Some of these books I actually had on my radar, and some of these I hadn't. So yeah, let's get to them. There is A Little Luck by Claudia Pineiro. I read Dorthe Nors by her, like a lot of people have, and I really, really loved that book. So yeah, ever since I've heard that she had a new book out, I wanted to read it. I haven't got a clue what this book is about. I don't need to know, I'll read it anyway. I know Willow over at Books and Bow, she has read and loved this book. I'm thinking maybe Jen Campbell has also already read it, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I'm very excited to have a copy of this. Then I've got The Rain Heron by Robbie Arnott. I read Flames by Robbie Arnott before, which I loved. He's an Australian author, I think specifically from Tasmania. Again, I don't know what this book is about, but I loved Flames so much that that was enough reason for me to pick this particular book up. I have Jonah's Gourd Vine by Zora Neale Hurston, another Farrago Modern Classic. I read Their Eyes Were Watching God by this author, which is her most famous work, I'd say. This isn't as well known, but I think this is her first novel, but like Their Eyes Were Watching God, this is also about the black experience in the southern states of the US in like the first half of the 20th century. And I really liked the writing in Their Eyes Were Watching God, so I think I'll enjoy this one as well. Then I've got Breath, Eyes, Memory, a novel by Edwidge Danticat. I read a short story collection by her, Crick Crack, which I really, really loved. She is a Haitian author who writes about Haiti and Haitian people. And I think that's what she'll do and I think that's what she will do in this book as well. Like I said, I really, really loved her short story collection. I loved her writing, so I hope I'll enjoy this book as well. Okay, then I've got this little book, which is Travels with Charlie by John Steinbeck, which is a non-fiction book in which he basically chronicles his experience traveling through the United States together with his dog Charlie. There's like a little painting of them on the cover. I've read a couple of John Steinbeck's work. I read his two like big books. I've read East of Eden and The Grapes of Wrath, which I both really enjoyed. I also liked Of Mice and Men. Yeah, I really like his writing style, and I think these sort of travel memoirs are, or could possibly be, a really great book to read. And then the very last book I want to talk about today is The Wind Eater by Keri Hulme. I read her book The Bone People years ago. It's a book from I think 1985 or 1986, around that time, and it won the Booker Prize at that time, and that is one of my favorite books of all time, even though I haven't read it in a very long time. So you know, I'll have to really reread it to see how it holds up. But yeah, this is a short story collection. The author is, I think, part of the New Zealand indigenous community, but I'm not entirely sure what, like how or what. But I do. But I remember in The Bone People, it was a book that had a lot of nature in it, a lot of nature writing, a lot of sort of indigenous wisdom. So I'm hoping I'll get that. So I'm hoping I'll get that from these short stories as well. Yeah, it's one of those books that I wasn't aware of, but I saw it and I had to pick it up because I think I'll enjoy it. So yeah, that was my entire book haul. I've got the stack right beside me and I'm contemplating whether I should pick it up for a thumbnail. I think I'm gonna try, but I might regret this. Here we are. Okay, that is definitely not going to work, but that's what we're going with. Oh my goodness. Whew. Okay, that's it. That was my book haul. Like I said, I'm so very excited about these books. I think I got a really fun mix of different genres, fiction, non-fiction. I can't wait to get stuck into all of these. Let me know if you are particularly interested in one of these books, or if you ever want to do a buddy read of one of them. Leave me a comment down below, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye bye.